In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a color wheel. Now this one's a bit larger, it took a long time to color in, so we're going to make it smaller using a compass, a protractor, a ruler, pencil, and then a bunch of pencil crayons, but we're going to do some testing on that in a minute. So to get started, I want to choose my size. Now when I did this one, I did a radius of 5, which made the color wheel 10 centimeters or about 4 inches at the end. And it was a bit too big. So it took a long time to color it in. So I'm going to make it smaller, and I think I'll go half that size. So I'm going to use centimeters, and I'm going to go to 2.5 centimeters. That will make the color wheel in the end be 5 centimeters, which is the equivalent to 2 inches. So when I go to set it up, place it down, and when you use the compass, give it a bit of a twist, or lean, not a twist, lean when you're twisting it, and it'll make a perfect circle for you. Now, in the very center of it now, I am going to find where the little tip is of the compass, and from there, I'm going to now divide up the space. So you want to know where that point is because you need to align your protractor right over top of it. When you do, I want you to try to align it so that you see 90 over to the left a little bit of what true 90 degrees would be. So I'm going to mark it at 90, mark it at 60, 30, and 0, 120, 150. That's all I need. I remove it now, and I'll be able to get the rest of the wheel done, no problem. So I need to connect the center to one of the ticks, and when I'm doing this, I'm only going through this center here to the other side. So I'm using the tick, and I'm using the center, but I'm only drawing within this small circle. I wasn't too aligned there, but all right, so there I go. I have that set up. Now I'm going to start labeling. So this color here is going to be yellow. So I'm going to do it a bit on the side because I'm going to run out of room because it's not very big. Then I'm going to skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and this one's going to be blue. Skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and this will be red. Make sure you can see what I'm doing. Oh, line. So now I'm going to fill in the primary colors. So the primary colors are the colors that make all the other colors on the wheel. So I'm going to use, I already know which colors I'm using, and I will show you why I chose this blue and the red that I chose in a second. Really be careful when you have a super sharp pencil crayon that you don't snap the tip. All right, I'm going to talk about the 3 different reds that I have as options. So you might say, when you see these 3 together, you might say, oh, that looks like red-orange, that looks like red, and that looks like, a red-purple color. It kind of is, but I'm choosing that one for this on purpose because I know that it's going to make a good purple. And I'll just show you here on the side, making sure you can see. I'm going to test out all of them. I'm going to put this one hard pressure, and then release. I'm going to do it twice because I'm going to test out 2 different blues. And this is what I would recommend that you do when you are trying to decide which colors to use, which red to use and which blue. It's usually pretty easy to figure out which yellow to use, but you need to be careful because some yellows have a hint of orange in them. So you might notice that I'm pressing hard and then I'm releasing the pressure. And I'm doing that because I want to blend in the other color gradually. And if I press too hard right at the beginning, the blends won't happen. So I'm going to do this blue first. So this one is a sky blue in the Crayola package. I'm going to press hard on the outside and release my pressure as I come across. I'm going to do the same thing for this one, so I'm always going to skip one. So I want to do the same test for each color scheme. or each color combo. Okay, so then this is the same color of red as the one there. Now I'm going to use this color. This one's called True Blue in the Crayola pack. Okay, so right now it's still kind of hard to tell. So again, I used True Blue and I used Sky Blue. And the colors that I used here, this one here was called, actually it was called Red Orange. The reason I did that is that sometimes in your pencil crayon case, you might have a color called Cardinal Red. That's what this color is. So you might think because it says it's red, that it is what you need, but it might not work out. So I always take the lighter color and I go back over top, and it helps me to burnish and blend the colors in together. So that was that color. Then I'm gonna go with the one that was called Red. If this happens to you, I always try to save it, figure out where it came out, and align it and just change the direction. Nope, it's not gonna work. I'm gonna come back to that one. I will go back to this one. This one's called Ruby Red. If you still have your Laurentian pencil crayons, use, there's Poppy Red, which is like that one, and there is, I think it's Poppy Red. Well, maybe Poppy Red is the one I like. Cherry Red. Cherry Red's the other combo that works beautifully. Okay, so I gotta sharpen this a little. I don't know if you can already tell that the one at the end, this one makes the best purple. And I don't know that until I test. Okay, so I've done that. I've made my decisions. I know this is the blue I want to use because I look at the difference between these two. I'm happier with that blue than I am with that one. So these are the colors I'm going to use for the rest of the wheel. So after you have your 3 primaries filled in, oh, I lost my tip. We do. This is the frustrating thing about using colored pencils. When you sharpen it, don't over push. Try to cut the wood as opposed to cutting the tip, and never let your pencil crayons drop on the floor. What happens is that it breaks all up the shaft, and that's sometimes why that happens. All right, so before I carry on, I'm going to label the other colors. So those were our 3 primaries. They create all the other colors, so we're gonna use these for the rest. Now yellow and blue, when they combine, they make green. When blue and red combine, they make purple. Sometimes you might see the word violet, okay? Either one will do. Red and yellow makes orange. So those are our secondary colors. When you are doing this, we're gonna have a little trick about doing all the oranges together, all the greens and all the purples. Before we get started with that though, I wanna talk about the tertiary colors. So tertiary means that it's got a mix of a primary and a secondary. So think about this as a 1 plus 2 equals 3. Tertiary means third, okay? So this color in between is called yellow-green. You can either keep it as 2 words or you can put a hyphen in between. These 2 guys together make blue-green. These 2 colors make blue-purple. Red and purple makes red-purple. And orange and red makes red-orange. And orange and yellow creates yellow-orange. Now you can see that some pencil crayons are actually labeled that way. In fact, this one calls it orange-red, or it's called red-orange here, naranja, which is Spanish. Sometimes they actually use words from other languages to label them, and then it's called orange rouge. So it's reversed in French. So as I go to finish coloring in this section, I'm going to fill in a wide sweep of yellow pressed hard on all 3 open sections. And then I'm going to put the blue down and I'm going to use this red to create the oranges. So when you do this, you want to have the orange be medium-ish pressure with your pencil crayon with the red. So you're putting red on top in a medium pressure. I always try to do it in circular layers because they help to overlap each other the whole time you're doing it. Once you have that done, you're going to add yellow on top of it, which will burnish the color and mix it together just like I did over here. Then for red-orange, I'm going to press hard with my red. And I'm pressing it hard on top of what I already pressed yellow. The yellow was already pressed hard. Okay. Now I probably don't have to put any more yellow on top of this because it's burnishing quite nicely with the red itself. I'm also going to fill in little white gaps here in the red. Now I'm going to make yellow-orange. So for this one, I want to do it as light as I can. If you have a hard time controlling your lightness pressure, hold the pencil more at the end and just sweep on top of it. So I'm putting down a very light layer of red. Trying to go in a little bit of rotating circles to help hide the lines in case you see some lines. Change the direction that you're coloring in, that will also help. Okay, then I'm going to go over top with red, or with yellow. Okay, that's pretty good. I feel like I have a little bit too much red right here, so I'm just going to take my fingernail and scrape that area and then cover it again. And now when I look at it, I always want you to gauge your step-by-step change here. So here to here is pretty good, here to here is good, here to here, too much of a change. So I have to increase the pressure on the orange a little bit to pump it up a little bit so it is more of the correct level of change. So I'm pressing medium, but a little bit harder than I pressed the first time. Okay, and then I take my yellow and go back over top. Depending on the quality of your pencil crayons, they're either going to scrape each other or they're going to work correctly. So here we go, that's all the yellows or the oranges. So now I'm going to take my pencil crayon and make sure that the yellow section on the tip of it is clean, and I'm going to fill all of this area here with yellow as well. Because I'm making the greens, and all greens share yellow as a hue. So this just saves me time instead of me coloring each one on its own. Now I'm going to take my blue pencil crayon and I'm going to create my green by putting medium pressure. Sometimes you have to just rotate it and you'll feel like you'll see that you got it into the right spot. I think it's right. So then when I do this, I look and see where more wood is. It should work without falling out. I'm using a light pressure anyways, so I'm going to save my energy on the blue-green. On that one, I'm going to press hard. So I'm just going to do a little bit of it. And then on the yellow-green, I go as light as I can go. I'm going to pump this one up a little bit more. And then I'm going in with all the pressure here. Up. I'm just going to use the end. If you can handle it, you can do that. No, that's a pain in the butt. Sharpen it. Sometimes before I start using it again, I scribble on it, just make sure that any sharp bits are off. I'm not going to sharpen this one too far because I have the fear that it'll break. I usually don't sharpen my pencil crayons to a sharp point. I'm going back over this one with a medium. Then I'm going to take my yellow and I press hard on yellow-green, hard on green, and I don't think I need to touch the blue-green at all. So I should see a step-by-step change. I don't know if you can still see the lines on this one. They kind of bother me, so I like to get rid of them by going in rotating circles. Now I've got a few little gaps on the blue, so I'm just going to fill those in. All right, next section. Now I'm going to do all the purples. So the purples have a bit of a different pattern on it. You are going to press hard where it says red purple. So you're going to have two that look identical for a moment. Then I want you to press medium for purple. And then medium light. So I don't know if you can see, but that was hard pressure, medium pressure, light pressure. So now I'm going to use the blues to create the rest of the purples. So I'm going to put medium pressure with the blue on top of the center one. I don't want to press too hard because I don't want the blue to fill in where those little white spots are. For blue purple, I'm going to press hard. And you can see wherever the white specks were, those little specks turn blue as opposed to blue purple. And then I'll go back over top with a little bit more red. Then I'm going to, on this one here where that's supposed to be purple, I'm going to go back over top with a red pencil crayon. So I fill in all those little white speckles. And I have a bit of a line showing. So now I'm going to go back over top with rotating circles. And then for red purple, I have to go lightly with the blue. And hard pressure with the red. So this is tricky because I look at these two and they look pretty similar. So I'm going to take my fingernail and I'm going to scrape off, hopefully, some of that blue. Then I'm going to push with the red back on top. And it's a little bit better. I think I have to pump this, the purple has to be pushed up just a bit. So it's just a varying pressure that is the key to make this all work. All right, so there is our color wheel. Now, another thing that we're going to talk about in it is the idea of warm and cool colors. So you're going to see that if you put a line right here, all of the colors on this side look warm and all of the colors on this side look cool. But sometimes you do this and it starts at green all the way to red purple. And then if you flip it to this side, it's from red all the way to yellow green. But really, yellow green and red purple, they straddle the line, and it all depends on which ones they're put with, whether or not they would look warm or cool. So looking at it that way, I would say all of those are warm colors. You could also say all of these are warm colors. And when you look at it on this side, this one totally looks like a warm color in comparison. And this looks warm, but they all look good together. And we're going to talk about the relationships that these have with each other when we fill out more of the package and when I show you more examples. But just to clarify before we move on, just so you understand, so we don't have to come back to the wheel again. Whenever you have 3, 4, or 5 colors in a row on the color wheel, they make analogous colors. So it's any 3 at all, any 4, and any 5. Okay, so as you go through, the easiest way to create analogous is using two primary colors, but it can also work. So just so you know, these colors here are also analogous because they're 5 in a row. This is one that tricks people up a little bit. All right, so that's the end of that. Hope you enjoyed it.